Welcome back. In the last few minutes, the Prime Minister's been speaking on a visit to Teesside. Started off talking about childcare. Let's hear what he's been saying.
She was experiencing a staffing crisis.
It's a really positive week for the expansion of our childcare offer to support families, giving them the choice of how best to juggle childcare and their career. And we're moving towards a system where working parents will have 30 hours of free childcare from the time that maternity leave ends at 9 months for their little one all the way to 4 years when they start school. This week it's being expanded to 2-year-olds. That's really positive. I've been talking to families for whom that's going to make a big difference. We've fully funded the programme and increased the rates that we're paying to nurseries, making sure that there are more childcare places available, more childcare staff available, and the future looks bright. And this is a really positive intervention, which, when it's fully rolled out, will be worth around £7,000 worth of support to working parents.
And are these places guaranteed?
Yes, these places are available across the country because we've put extra funding in, not just for the new places, but also we've increased the rates that childcare providers are being paid. We've also made it easier to become a childminder. There are new £1,000 bonuses for people who are signing on to enter the profession as well, cut the red tape that was making it a bit trickier for people to become childminders. All these things are making it easier for us to provide the support that we want to, which, as I said, 30 hours of free childcare from the time your little one's 9 months old all the way up to when they start school at 4. This week it's being rolled out to 2-year-olds. That total support is worth £7,000. It's about supporting families and making it easier for them to make choices around juggling childcare and their career. So it's a really big positive development.
What is your reaction to the killing of aid workers in Gaza?
I'm shocked and saddened to hear the reported deaths of aid workers in Gaza. We're urgently working to confirm all the details, but my thoughts right now with their friends and family. They're doing fantastic work, bringing alleviation to the suffering that many are experiencing in Gaza. They should be praised and commended for what they're doing. They need to be allowed to do that work unhindered, and it's incumbent on Israel to make sure that they can do that, and we're asking Israel to investigate what happened urgently, because clearly there are questions that need to be answered.
Has your government received advice from its own lawyers that Israel has breached international humanitarian law?
You know, our view is long-standing that Israel has both the intention and the ability to comply with international humanitarian law. I've made that very clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu whenever I've spoken to him. There have been too many civilian deaths in Gaza. Of course, we want to see an immediate humanitarian pause so that we can get the hostages out and more aid into the region.
What's your response to J.K. Rowling challenging Scotland's new hate crime law and inviting police to arrest her if they believe she's committed an offence?
Well, look, we're not going to do anything like that here in England. We should not be criminalising people saying common sense things about biological sex. Clearly that isn't right. We have a proud tradition of free speech, and I think it just shows, whether it's the SNP or the Labour, these are the wrong set of priorities for the country. I'm focused on delivering on the things that really matter to people, and that's why this week we're rolling out free childcare to many more parents. That's an example of us building a brighter future for our country.
So do you support J.K. Rowling's approach?
It's not right for me to comment on police matters, individual matters, but what I do support very strongly is people's right to free speech, and nobody should be criminalised for saying common sense things about biological sex.
Is it time for the police to do what James Arbuthnot, Liam Byrne and a host of sub-postmasters want and prosecute the Post Office and Fujitsu executives for what they believe is a cover-up, false prosecutions, damage to hundreds of lives, instead of what they see as hiding behind the public inquiry?
This is the most awful miscarriage of justice, which is why we're doing absolutely everything we can to put it right. We're passing urgent legislation in Parliament to exonerate postmasters. We're paying out compensation and have increased compensation levels as well. It's important that we right the wrongs of the past. That's what this government is doing, and there is a statutory public inquiry that has all the powers it needs to investigate what happened and make sure we can get all the answers that everyone rightly deserves. And in the meantime, it's also right that Fujitsu have paused bidding for any new government contracts. But I'm focused on getting the postmasters the justice, the answers and the compensation that they deserve, and we're delivering that at speed.
Finally, with the change of DUP leader, are you confident Stormont will remain stable?
I've worked very hard to get the executive back up and running in Northern Ireland. That's what people in Northern Ireland want and deserve. I'm pleased that that's happened, and I'm reassured that everyone is committed to delivering that stability going forward. And I look forward to working with Gavin Robinson, who obviously I have worked with in the past as well. And the people of Northern Ireland have waited a long time to have their executive back up and running. It's important that it continues to do so, and they will have our full support.